Hey guys, Scott Patton here. Today I've got what's happening on Chickamauga. Hey guys, Scott Patton here. This is what's happening on Chickamauga. You know, it's been good and bad down here the last couple of weeks. You know, it really depends on the type of weather you're going to get. You know, today with the overcast days and stuff like that, and you got some wind, you're going to catch a lot more fish down here. But you know, I know a lot of times you're planning on your trips down here. You know, I got guys booking trips down here. You just never know what you're going to get with the weather, and sometimes we got those bluebird days, dead slick water, and I mean it's been like that a couple of days this week, and we really didn't have good trips at all. But we've had some really good trips too. You know, lost some really big fish this week on the frog. Probably caught more numbers on the spinnerbait this week and the square bill than I have anything. But I'm going to kind of give you a rundown what I've been doing and the baits I'm going to be using here in the next 2 weeks. And hopefully this will help you guys out when you're coming down here planning your trips, and help you catch more fish. All right, you guys, as far as the frog and the fishing the mats down here, we've still got quite a few mats. I mean, we've got a lot of mats that aren't there no more. I'm still throwing a frog on some days. You know, I'm trying it. You know, some days it's better than others. Some days it's like you just can't get them to bite. And again, it's been those slick days, high bluebird days, that are just a tough bite overall. But we've had some pretty good days, caught some big fish on it too. I'm using a popping frog. This is a Spro popping frog. This is snag proof black and white. I've really used a lot of different colors. You know, some days I try to use colors that everybody, because there might be 3 or 4 guys on a mat, a big mat. So I'm trying to use sometimes colors that everybody else isn't throwing, and that's helped some. But it just seems like the days when they eat, they're going to eat. And the days when they're just going to, you know, push up the mat or just roll on it, they're just not going to eat. It's hard to get them to eat like that. I mean, I've had days where, I mean, I would not take that frog from that fish and have a good one blow on it, and you just twitch it and you blow on it again, and then you twitch it and blow on it, then you just barely moving it, and he still won't come after that frog. He's just not going to eat. And I think a lot of it's just because all of the pressure we've had from frog fishing. But that's why a lot of you guys come down here to fish Chickamauga, is to frog fish. But you still want to do it through November. Usually all the way through November. I've done real well with the frog bite down here. Doesn't seem like we're getting a tournament pressure right now. I don't think we've got any major tournaments coming down here this fall. So if you guys still want to plan your trips down here, come on down here to Dayton, Tennessee, fish Chickamauga. It's a real good time of year to fish. A lot of guys are in the woods hunting, and so, you know, I'm telling you, you can still come down here and catch you a giant, catch a fish of a lifetime down here right now, you guys. So one thing too I want to mention with the frog, you know, I use these Lake Fork frog trailers on my frog every time. Only time I'm not going to use it is if I'm using it more in sparse grass where I maybe want to walk the frog. It's really hard to make that bait walk with that trailer hook on there. But if I'm throwing it up on mats, dragging it across the mats, make sure you got that trailer hook on there. We had one day, I think we caught a 6.5, and if it wasn't for the trailer hook, we wouldn't have caught that fish. So like I say, we're getting a lot of short strikes, a lot of misses, but there are days we're still catching them real good on the frog. So, you know, overall, I've probably caught more fish in the last 2 weeks on my spinnerbait, and I ain't trying to push them, but any 1/4-ounce spinnerbait, you know, that's a little old turtle shell blade. It's just a small compact bait. You know, up in the river, I've done real good with this blue, white, and chartreuse. If you go on down towards the dam, you may want to throw more, you know, translucent colors, more natural shad patterns, and try that. But if it's cloudy and windy, we've had some really fantastic days on this thing, and I'm telling you what, when they hit it, they hit it. They're knocking it out of your hands. It's a fun bite. I've caught them back in the creeks and stuff like that, just slow rolling it through the patches of grass and everything. Really got to do a lot of searching or looking. I'm fishing this thing really slow, so you know, I know I use it all the last couple of weeks, but you know, it's still catching the majority, probably a majority of my fish right now in Chickamauga. So you know, I'm telling you what, you still want to keep fishing this thing when you come down here. Just get you a quarter ounce, you guys. I think it's really more important because they seem like they want this thing slow. This is also a good time to burn a spinnerbait, where you might want to go to like a ½ ounce or a 3/4 ounce and burn it. I haven't done that much, but usually this time of year I'll start doing that and keeping it up towards the surface and just burn it pretty fast across the surface, and them fish will jump up out of that grass and grab that spinnerbait. Where you need a heavier spinnerbait, you guys, in order to do that, because if you try to burn this quarter ounce spinnerbait with this turtle shell blade on, it's going to pull too much water. It's going to make that bait roll. And this bait is way better if you're going to fish it slow, okay? So don't try to overfish this bait. I'm usually putting some kind of trailer on there as a bass assassin. Just dipping the tail in chartreuse to give it some real good action. But like I said, as of right now, this is catching more fish on me on the right type of days, okay? I am still fishing my square bills. You know, we've caught fish in those, and you go in some of these creeks, got some stained water in it, or you know, these overcast, cloudy days. The chartreuse shad is one of my favorite all-time colors. And I know I've been fishing this a while down here, but again, this lake can be tough, and it can be good. And this bait here is putting some fish, putting a lot of fish in the boat for me still. I'm fishing it fairly slow again, you guys. I don't know why they want these baits so slow, but it seems like that's what they've been wanting. This is a Lucky Craft 1.5 chartreuse shad. In this color right here, I've seen like anywhere I've been in the country, that the color catches fish for you, and it's definitely catching them down here in Chickamauga. I know at if you come down here in Dayton, Tennessee, down at the Real Deal Tackle Store, they've got some of these in stock. I was in there today, I saw them. So if you're down here in town, and you can't find it nowhere, you can go down here at Real Deal Tackle Store and get you some of those. I'm going to still keep a topwater bait on. I have not really caught that many fish on it yet. I do not know why, but it's just, to me, usually this time of year, I love a walking bait like this Lucky Craft Sammy or Strike King Sexy Dog. You know, on these darker days, I'm going to use more of a white color. If it's a clear day, I may go with chrome, or may even go down size to a smaller size. I'm telling you, I have not caught that many fish on this, but I really think going into November that this bait, as the water temperature is getting down 60 degrees now, I think this bait's going to pull, and I usually can catch some big fish off from this thing, fishing it in real shallow water, 2 to 3 foot deep, or right off the main lake flats, where that grass is breaking up, where you don't have the mats and stuff like that. Just walk that thing. You're going to experiment with the retrieve, whether you're walking it, stopping it, or just continuously walking it. Sometimes you walk that thing really fast across the surface. They can't stand it, and they jump up and eat that thing. It was always a good bait this time of year on Kentucky Lake. And it's a good bait down here. You know, a lot of times I always end up catching some big ones on Chickamauga with this thing in the fall. So this is one thing I would definitely have tied on. Throw it on braid if you're making real long casts. And if you're going to fish it a little bit tighter to the boat, you know, we're not casting it and making real long casts. You know, you can get away with using, you know, 17 or 20 pound test mono on it. But it really probably works better with braid. You can make it walk a little bit easier with braid because you don't have to stretch. And if you're making a long cast with it, you can get a better hook set with it too, okay? But that is a bait that I'm going to have tied on in the next couple of weeks. One thing I'm going to have to go to, you know, this is probably something I would use a little bit later on in the year, but you know, a lot of days, it's been, you know, them blue board days and stuff, it's been tough. I'm going to go to a rig. These are some I kind of put together myself. I buy the bodies and I put the blades. I like the small blades on them. And, you know, of course, you got the three hooks here in Tennessee. You got, you know, you can only use the 3 hooks. But I'm throwing the A-rig is something the guy's going to have to go to. And I'm going to be going to it here in the next couple of weeks. I may use a big swim base. I may go with smaller profile swim base with it. It just depends. I'll play around with that and to kind of let the fish tell me what they're wanting. But I'm going to fish this probably up on the deeper grass. You know, if you got grass, you know, still about, you know, 5 to 10 foot deep, I'll throw it out there on the main lake. fish this thing across there. You may want to try burning it real fast. I'm not using real heavy weights. This is like a little 1/4 ounce weights. It may not be 1/4 ounce, but I'm gonna go to a real small weight because you want to keep that thing up over the grass because it'll hang too much if you get it down in there. And you know, this is good off some of the main lake drops. You know, the ledges that are covered with grass. Good place to get you a big fish too. Those big fish are out there, and this is the time of year, and even through, of course, next month too. It's gonna be a good time of year to start throwing it. But this is probably something you guys probably want to rig up and have you know, in your boat when you come down here fishing here in the next couple weeks. And one last bait too. I'm still catching some fish on it. I don't know, I'm not catching as many as I was when we first had those cold fronts come through. I was on that jerk bait, throwing it more up on the flats and stuff like that around the scattered grass where the grass is dying out again. I've caught some good fish. Had, you know, some 5-pounders on this thing too. It's been real iffy on the days that they want it. It seemed like I've done better with this bait on the calmer days versus where it's windy, but a jerk bait's always good when it's windy. But it might be just because I know I can get bit on that spinner bait and that square bill when I got more wind and cloud cover. So I'm not really throwing it as much then because, like I said, that spinner bite's been real good. But this a Lucky Craft again is a pointer, and it's in that chartreuse shad colors, the same patterns. I throw that square bill in. I'm pretty sure I saw these up there at Real Deal 2 up there Dayton, and you know, you can get these down here also, guys, when you're down here. But you know, that's, you know, one other thing I'm gonna have, you know, especially it goes into November, I love to flip a jig. I don't do this a whole lot guiding. A lot of guys don't like to flip, but if I'm just out here fishing like a lot of you guys are going to be, flipping a jig on some of the woods on these bluff walls coming out of the creeks and stuff like that, even flipping these isolated patches of grass, it can be a real big thing to do down here. It seems like green pumpkin most of the time is the better color for me down here. If I'm getting more stained water, of course I'll go with the black and blue. And but you know, like I say, this is something you can flip it on bluff walls on 15-pound test fluorocarbon, Seaguar fluorocarbon, or if I'm gonna flip it into the cover, I'll probably have 17 or 20-pound test Seaguar fluorocarbon. I like to braise X when I'm flipping. Just a real good bait to get you a big bite with some really good quality bite. It's also good around the docks and stuff this time of year, you guys. You know, a lot of these baits are hard to fish a lot. You know, because a lot of the grass was so thick, but we're losing a lot of our grass. A lot of it's dying out and it's breaking up, and the wind's been blowing a lot of it away and stuff like that. So we don't have to deal. There's a lot of areas you can fish, you know, a jig or you know, or flipping, you know, a baby brush hog or something like that around some of these docks and stuff too, where we're losing our grass in some of those creeks and stuff. So you know, guys, this is, you know, what's going on with me here on Chickamauga. I'm hoping these will help you guys out. You know, like I say, the weather seemed like it's played a big major role. If you come into town, you know, just so you know, a lot of you, you know, Dayton Boat Dock there, Michael Neal store is always right there at the Dayton Boat Dock. They have moved down the road down here. It's right next to Taco Bell. So if you're looking for a taco store, you want to go check it out, looking for some of these baits I'm talking about. They got them in there, and you got a wide variety of baits in there. I was in there today, and the store is fabulous. They've done such a fantastic job putting that store together. So make sure when you're in town, you ride down there and check them out, and get the tackle you need. Say hi to the gang in there. But hopefully this will help you guys out, and make sure you subscribe. Please follow along, you guys. Leave a comment and let me know what you think. Let me know what you're catching your fish on right now, and let me know if you got any big ones down here on Chickamauga this fall. We'll catch you later on, guys. See you on the water.